Hello, wizards. I am really behind on videos, but I wanted to go through this. I know a couple of other people have already done videos like this, but I just thought it would be kind of fun to walk through the D&D trailer, see the things that are kind of interesting, fun to notice, and talk about my favorite parts and the things that I think are going to be interesting. It's not going to be any audio on the video for copyright reasons, but I will be talking through most of it. And if you want to check it out for yourself, it's the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves trailer. And we're going to walk through it, watch it one time, and then kind of walk through it frame by frame and see if there's anything fun to notice. And with that, let's get started. Lots of clips there. Forgotten Realms. Some really cool stuff in the background there that we'll go through. Really interested in this helm. What could it be? Obviously, Black Dragon, super, super cool. Really exciting to see that they're actually doing the acid breath. Sword Coast, probably. Classic thing, helping the wrong person, stealing the wrong thing. Classic setup for a D&D campaign. Also, Lich's shield spell. Y'all meet in a tavern, headed in for a drink. Icewind Dale, some really cool places. Barbarian, super excited for this. Paladin, smiting. Again, that helm. And a druid. I know some people have had problems with some of this. I'll talk about it a little bit. The owlbear and the representation of the tiefling. I think it's really fun that they put that in there. It's really interesting to see. Little maybe like dimension door there. Really interested to see what that is. Blue flame blade or green flame blade. Shield spell again. Mimic, some interesting things with that. It's funny that they dive into a gelatinous cube. Love a red dragon. Love that scene, that shot there with them jumping in. Super cool. Classic bard. All right, let's go back through it a little bit at a time. Head back to the beginning. Skip this because it's just kind of a quick little thing. Get it through there. Cool. So, Forgotten Realms, big city here. Some question maybe as to whether which city it actually is because of this Coliseum here. Other people have talked about that. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just cool to see very like fantasy representations of cities, looking very Game of Thronesy, and it's kind of like King's Landing. Lots of stuff going on in the background here. Looks like some different banners, different maybe factions like at play in this setting and what's going on with the world. Obviously the dragon statue comes back in later when it comes back to life. We'll talk about that when it comes up. Moving through. Interestingly, these people are all running away from something as these are the party is walking in. Kind of think that's going to be interesting to see what they're moving towards or away from. Keep moving forward. Nothing else there really. So maybe a representation of the Nine Hells, probably. Just kind of an interesting representation with the chains coming down. I really like this. I also really like that this looks like a terrain battle map. If you I've messed with like minis and mini terrains and stuff, like this is a very cool representation of like floating islands that you could see somebody doing pretty easily with a mini terrain. Keep moving forward. So obviously this is the party all together. So there's a paladin, a sorcerer, a bard, a druid, and a barbarian, which is kind of a fun mix of people. So you got, interestingly, two faces of the party. I'm curious to see if they kind of play off of that with the like high charisma bard and paladin. And actually sorcerer, I guess that's for a third there with high charisma. It'll be interesting to see just in general how the like stats of D&D sort of play into the movie itself. So this is the one big thing I wanted to talk about. Clearly here they're getting something, and this looks to be the helm. Interestingly, it looks like the paladin comes in after they do the thing where they get the MacGuffin for the bad guys. So it'll be interesting to see how they meet the paladin, because he's obviously killing some of the bad guys with them. And then they go to get this helm, whatever it is. And as it opens, you can't really see anything inside, but you can see they're clearly like pulling it out. I'm really curious what this helm is. So kind of looks like a helm of brilliance potentially, but there's like lots of interesting things that it could be. I know some people have had problems with some of the magic in this with like the owlbear transformation and some things like that. I'm wondering if this helmet is some kind of MacGuffin around that, where it like levels up spells or allows you to cast like higher level spells than you're supposed to be able to, which could be the way that they explain some of those more fun like shape change spells or things like that. Moving forward, that city again from a different angle, Colosseum over here sort of thing. This is where they're fighting later, I think, when Hugh Grant is involved. So that's going to be interesting. This is them on that boat from the beginning, the same sail, blue sail. Then you get the scene with the Black Dragon. Kind of interesting to see. We've got two factions here. Almost looks like kind of commoner style or like bandits versus people who are clearly more regimented and sort of put together. But the Black Dragon flies in, and then we get a bigger shot of the battle. There's a lot going on. These trebuchets flinging burning rocks. You can see that one like explodes, which I thought at first was kind of confusing because it was the acid breath from the Black Dragon, and then there's fire, but it's just because the trebuchet is launching these things that are exploding. You can see one of them come in here as it kind of flies towards the battle. And there it is. There it explodes. Moving forward, we'll start playing it again. Get through the logos. Hasbro. So I think, yeah, maybe the Sword Coast. Maybe this is where they end up after they're on the boat, or maybe this is like where they get the boat. Who knows? So this person right here, this is the bad guy that they helped out. She seems to be like, you know, the classic NPC that you meet that you're like, you know, we trust you and you're kind of cool, and then ends up betraying and becoming either the BBEG or like a henchman to the BBEG. But this is the beginning of it. I'm wondering if she's maybe like a warlock or a wizard, like a dark wizard or something. Who knows? There they go into this building, whatever they're doing, helping the wrong person. They get this horn, maybe something with Groomsh. There's like lots of possibilities for what this could be. Clearly used in like some summoning ritual. But they are obviously on her side at this point. So seems like they, you know, partied up with somebody, ended up not being the right person. You can see, I think these are the Red Wizards of Thay. I'm not super well versed on the Forgotten Realms, but it seems to be what it is. Although what's interesting, I think, is that these people in the background don't necessarily look like they're part of whatever's going on here. It's kind of strange. Like they could be cultists, they could be like sacrifices. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they are. Cool camera shot. I really love the over the head camera through the red here. I don't know, just looks pretty cool. And then we've got this scene of them fighting. It kind of seems like maybe these are the same people, like these commoners that are here. Pulls right into this, like more of these red wizards, who I think the Red Wizards of Thay are all liches, or there's like a lot of like lichdom in that. And so you can see that's, I think, the person, that's the same person here. Her and her are the same person. But then moving forward, cool representation of a shield spell as the arrows are kind of like getting absorbed into it. I'm actually wondering if, I think you can see one of the arrows has like gone through. So some interesting representations of like AC and how that's going to work. Something happening here, some kind of time bubble. Although maybe this is the same spell. Maybe this is actually like a slowing down of time. Kind of interesting. You can see everybody starts to freeze here. I'm guessing this is where things start to go wrong for everybody as they're getting that item and she's maybe betraying them, or whoever is attacking her is betraying or is attacking them, and now she's going to betray them, something like that. Cool shot here. Big spider. I think that's funny. Yeah, just kind of a massive spider. Clearly something's gone wrong. This is the paladin. This is where they meet him. I think this must be towards the middle of the movie, if I had to guess. And this is where the big red dragon's going to come in. I forget what his name is, but love a classic. Figure it out over a drink. Making plans in the tavern. You know, you all meet in a tavern style thing. You walk in. We get some Icewind Dale. Some interesting more like field settings, them in manacles, which is going to be kind of interesting. Not sure who's captured them here, but he still has his lute. She does not have an axe, so I'm wondering if that's going to come in with him playing like magic through his music, something like that. Clearly this is right after that though, so she grabs this like burning axe, maybe a magical weapon, kind of cool. And then I think this is in the Nine Hells still. And this scene here is obviously a very different scene where she is beating somebody up with her manacles. You can kind of see the sparks as she hits them. And she's raging there, obviously. And then that's her just kind of, you know, going to town on these NPCs. I love the barbarian rage and just the strength. Again, that kind of like idea of a stat. You know, he goes from grappled to slammed on the ground there. That's pretty fun. This guy, super cool, really excited. I'm guessing these are still the same bad guys that they have been fighting the whole time, but now they have the paladin on their side, so maybe they're a little better off. This is Smite. Like, I'm almost positive that this is a representation of Smite, which I think is super cool. This is really cool. I'm not 100% sure what this spell is, or if it's maybe just like an item, but you can see his sword like sort of grows back there. Or I guess it's the insert coming out. It's not growing back. It's kind of weird on the VFX a little bit. You can see like it's not there and then it is there. I don't know if that's just the angle that it's pointing at. It must be. But then the helmet. So this is that helmet that they get. And this is him, I'm pretty sure, casting Thunder Wave. And you can see it starts here and he knocks them back. And I think there might be a little bit of editing trickery here, as that looks like it is the same spell rippling out. I'm not sure. If it is the same spell rippling out, I think it could be interesting to see if this is some sort of like magic enhancing spell that allows him to cast, you know, a much higher level Thunder Wave kind of thing. And if this like helm has something to do with that. So, although I still think, yeah, this is probably just like a different spell happening here. You can see there's like some battle or something going on down here. There's like these flashes of things happening. I'm guessing this is related to the scene where the stone dragon attacks. We get some fun little banter. A lot of people have talked about the fact that she doesn't really look like a tiefling. I think it's fair. I think, you know, tieflings are described in a lot of versions of D&D as looking basically human with like tails and horns. But I think, you know, I think the biggest problem is that people wanted them to sort of lean into that classic tiefling look, and they didn't. But we get the cool scene here where locked up. I'm curious to see how this plays out too. There's some more editing stuff going on here where I think that this is actually a different character, but they're locked, like tied up, and then obviously transforms from a horse into an owlbear. So it's the same horse. So he hits the horse transforms into an owlbear. And I don't know if this is all, you know, like a plan or what it is, but you can see, so now, you know, obviously owlbear reckon these dudes. These are the cultists, I think, the same people that they've been fighting sort of throughout the whole thing. Maybe not though, I'm not sure. Could be bandits, could be something else. Same person locked up over here. And I don't think that's the barbarian. It's hard to tell. I'm almost positive it's not though. So more owlbear fights. I love this. I think that this is hilarious that they put the owlbear in here. I know there's a lot of people who have problems with it because it's not a beast and you can't wild shape into an owlbear. Yeah, so must not be the barbarian. They're over here, obviously talking about the what's going on over there as a guy goes flying in the background. So that's an owlbear. I mean, I'm personally of the opinion that owlbears should just be beasts, but yeah, you see she wrecks that last dude, and then cool little transition from jumping as the owlbear into landing. Interestingly, so this is the person that I think was tied up that she's like let go. There's still a guard back there. She sort of like is doing something with her hands here. I'm curious to see what this is going to be. This is like a part of casting a spell. This is the like somatic part of casting a spell, which I think is interesting. And she has something in her hands momentarily. You can see there for a second, just right there, there's a moment where there's something in her hands. So I wonder if maybe that's how she changes into the owlbear. Wondering, you know, maybe there's a new piece of content coming out that'll like get released with the movie or something like that. That'll give us a subclass of druid that can shift into monstrosities. This is that dragon, stone dragon, coming to life. I'm thinking this might be related to why everyone's fleeing. Maybe one of these comes to life and that's where the party's like walking up while everybody else is running away. Interesting transition here. She has something in her boot. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not sure if this is just like lost VFX things or if it's meant to be there, but it looks almost like a scroll. Oh, maybe she's holding it on the other side. I bet that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. And then she transfers it. Oh no, maybe not. I don't know. Hard to see. She's clearly got something there though. This looks like some kind of like magnificent mansion or like some spell like that almost, where she's, you know, entering through the door. Doesn't look like there's anything here until she's inside of it and it does the full upside down flip, which is kind of cool. Looks like a treasure room of sorts. Maybe they're stealing something or maybe they're putting something in their little like treasure room. Rope. Every good party's got to have a rope. The Underdark, super cool. Excited for that. There's going to be some neat. I like that they're going to a lot of the locations in D&D to really introduce that. This is just a Hexblade. 100% has to be a Hexblade, and he's casting Green Flame Blade, which is super cool. And that's the sorcerer fighting, or not the sorcerer, the paladin fighting this guy, and a bunch of the other like minions around this time. Like the Gladdy's on our side because paladins are tough. Keep going. He's like, I think, killed this person in the background. I think that's what this is supposed to be, is like you can see like he slices across or something to this person who falls over. I think this is them starting to fall over. Who needs heroes? Lightning bolt, super cool. This is obviously back at that same point where they've like been betrayed by this person, or she's like helping them fight whatever's fight coming. But big dude in red, after he has the horn, he's summoned in these little things. This is back at that Colosseum. You can see meteor or fireball, unsure of what spell that actually is, but then not positive what that spell is. It's kind of like shield, but it works on everybody, so maybe it's just a movie adaptation of shield, who knows. Moving forward, so this is clearly now they're in the Colosseum, so wondering on some of the timeline of all of this stuff, but I love that the terrain is in hexes. This is just such a clever little detail of being not hexes but squares, so it's a gridded terrain, so you've got your like 5 feet grid. Absolutely love it. And as it comes up, we get Hugh Grant. Curious if he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. The mimic thing is funny because, as someone pointed out to me, she got away from that mimic really easily. She didn't end up grappled by it, even though they're like sticky all over. But oh well. I love that they have a mimic in this. It's kind of just such a classic thing. You've got to have one if you're going to do a good movie. It's just a great thing. And this is also, I think, in that same Colosseum, or wherever those tiles came up. You can see all of these things. And this is also where they're fighting like the Displacer Beast and the gelatinous cube that they dive into. Curious to see who this is, what's going on here. Here's that gelatinous cube that they're jumping into. Weirdly, it seems to be underneath a tile, like it's like part of this tile here. But then the Displacer Beast comes in. Very interesting kind of Colosseum-like thing. This is back with that fight with the Red Wizard, back in that same town square. Maybe this is what they're walking towards as everyone's running away. Who knows? So many questions. Magic Missile, I'm pretty sure, being cast there, which is kind of fun. There she is the like Red Wizard, but you can see Druid here for a moment. Then Owlbear, really wondering if the Owlbear is something else, or if there's going to be some other like aspect of this that we just haven't seen yet. Cool little Misty Step, probably about 30 feet away up there. Pretty cool. And then we get the dragon. I think this is wherever they've gone, maybe to get the helm. As they're collecting that, they run into the wizards. They maybe wake up the dragon, and then we get this really cool. I love this as they're like sliding towards it, and he leaps. I'm sure that there's going to be some contention here, right? Because we've got like the paladin and the bard. sort of opposites of each other, but really high charisma, both of them. So I'm sure we're going to get some fun, like, you know, oh no, I'm the face of the party kind of things. But that's just such a cool shot. I love the fires burning in the background with a dude leaping, and that's just such a classic D&D thing. Like, you can imagine a player just being like, I want to try to push off and stab it in the head. But as we go forward, we kind of end up with the last little bit here. And trailer, what exactly is it that you bring to this? Such a classic I make the plans kind of thing. I love the idea that the plans go wrong if I make, you know, if we make new plans. And then I love he also plays the lute, which is just fun. And then let's see, it's pretty much it. And then yeah, the little shot of him like jauntily playing the lute here. Sure, there's going to be a musical scene. There has to be, with a bard in your show. But anyway, that is my take on it, kind of frame by frame, the things that I've seen going through it. Lots of really interesting things. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe. I will be putting out new videos soon. I've just gotten really busy these last few weekends. I've got 2 new videos coming out. One on what do adventuring supplies really entail, and what does death in D&D actually mean. So stay tuned for those. And if you liked this, subscribe and follow me on Twitter, both on Hasbeen Wizard. Thanks for watching. Stay wizardly.